Hello, folks. This is Kevin from Good Day, Good Prayers, and I'm going to be reporting today on KW Wayne's DSR Chats. We are going to talk about health. Health is a very, very important thing for each of us, and it is ultimately important that we are able to have good health. There are a lot of things that we can do. One of the big things that we can do is to get away from processed foods. It's estimated that somewhere between 70 and 80% of the foods that the American people eat are actually processed. Now, this seems to be a phenomenon in other nations as well. But because of the fact that the United States was the very first nation that was to be attacked and was to be destroyed, it began predominantly in the United States. And it was a lot worse in the United States than it was in many other parts of the world. In fact, almost half of the nations around the world actually have resisted a lot of the things that the deep state and the satanic cabals were able to get away with here in the U.S. And one of the things that has specifically happened is the fact that all kinds of deadly things were put in the foods. Now, you maybe go to a country like the Philippines, and you see some food on the shelf, and you read the back of the package, and you'll notice maybe there's 4 or 5 ingredients in there, and they're all basic ingredients, things that people know about, and so there are no surprises. But you look at that same package in the United States, and there might be 12 or 15 or 20 or even 30 different ingredients. And a lot of those ingredients, they're long as your arm, and you can't hardly pronounce them. And you look them up, and you find out that it's some kind of rat poison or some crazy thing, and then you wonder why you're sick all the time. Well, in the month of May, I became deathly ill. I told you I started my diet because of the fact that I was concerned about the fact that I was going to kick the big one. Now, the big one is not somebody else. It was actually I was going to die. So we can take a look at the fact that a lot of it had to do with processed foods. It had to do with ingredients that were in foods that really shouldn't be there. That's one reason why I admire President Trump. He has brought out a man by the name of Robert Kennedy Jr. Now, he didn't care about the fact that he might be a Democrat or a Republican or an independent or whatever. What he was most concerned about was that Robert Kennedy cares about the health of the American people. He and President Trump can agree on that they want to see the American people being healthy. Well, I thank God for that, because I was on my way out in May. Now, I listened to a show, and the person who has the show is a man by the name of Dr. Berg. Okay. Now, I love Dr. Berg. I think that his information is right on, and it's really great. And he has, 10 or 12 million followers, a lot more than the 57 that I have. On this show, on DSR Chats, I've only got 9 or 10. But, and yes, we do need more people to subscribe, and we need more people to give us that thumbs up. Whenever you can think about doing that, we'd appreciate it. But the fact is that the things that were going on in my life in May were the things that were causing me to get ready literally to check out. And so I started listening to Dr. Berg, and he gave some very important information about dieting And one thing that he talked about, and I really liked it, there was one other doctor that was talking about it as well, but I don't listen to him as much as I listen to Dr. Berg, because of the fact that Dr. Berg has information that I really trust. And so I began to follow the diet program that he had suggested. And I was able to get through to a point where by the beginning of July, I was already feeling better. And I started getting away from a lot of the things that I had been eating, specifically staying away from processed foods as much as possible. Up to that time, I had even been buying sugar-free things, and whenever there would be a party or anything, I'd eat 2 or 3 pieces of something sugar-free in place of cake and ice cream or whatever. But I found that really wasn't helping me, and so I have quit purchasing even the sugar-free things that are on the shelf. And if I'm going to have something sugar-free, my wife makes it, and she very carefully puts together ingredients that are safe and are healthy. And so if I'm going to have something that is sugar-free, if she doesn't make it, I certainly will not eat it, because I do not trust what you get from the store. And really, you shouldn't either. Those things are deadly. They wanted to destroy the American population, and we've talked about that. The end of 2024 was the date when we were all supposed to be gone. And then China, there was supposed to be some people that would survive, and they would be the slaves to the global government. And this is after all the other people around the world were destroyed. Well, then they did the illness situation in 2019, and they started requiring, all of the different injections and so on. And now there isn't even enough people in China to be able to make up the group of slaves that they were going to need. So somebody just went ahead and, you probably know a little bit about the Georgia Guidestones. Somebody just went ahead and broke them up, and that was the end of the Georgia Guidestones. It's kind of sad, really, when you think about it, because even though it was something that was made out of something that's very evil, it was still quite interesting. But they're gone. And the American people are still here. The people in Europe, the people in all of Asia, in Africa and the Middle East and all over the world are still here. Now, some of them on Judgment Day are not going to be here anymore, because some people are absolutely evil. They're not following after the statutes of God, and that's going to be a problem for them. And they will have to go somewhere else. Some people suggest that it's hell. Other people suggest a prison planet or some other kind of planet. And some people even suggest that it'll be another timeline. And we are going to be talking about timelines and time travel here before long. But that's for another day. You folks, now you have a good day. And a good day always starts with good prayers. And if those good prayers reach the throne of God, well, you're most certainly going to have a good day, aren't you? So with that being said, you folks have a good day.